everybody. So far in this section, we have learned that consumer surplus is equal to the area below the demand curve and above the current price of a product. Analogously, producer surplus is equal to the area above the supply curve and below the current price of a product. We're going to start assuming that the current price is at the equilibrium price, P sub E. And remember that the equilibrium point, X sub E, P sub E, is the intersection of the demand and supply curves. So let's review what this all looks like. On our vertical axis, we have the price that we're calling P. On the horizontal axis, we're calling that X, and that's number of units produced and sold. The demand curve is the one that trends downwards. So it's this one that's P equals D of X. And the supply curve is the one that trends upwards. So this one is called P equals S of X. Our equilibrium point is the point where those two curves intersect. So going down from there, we have X sub E, and going across from there, we have P sub E. So with the assumption that the current price is the equilibrium price, this area I'm shading right now gives us the consumer surplus. And the area below that equilibrium price, but above the supply curve, gives us the producer surplus. Now we saw an example of computing, I think it was consumer surplus, when the demand curve was just a straight line. And in that case, that area that you need to compute is just a triangle, so you just use 1/2 base times height. But what if the demand curve is not a straight line? And what about producer's surplus if the supply curve is not a straight line? For these situations, we can use a definite integral. So our formula for the consumer's surplus, which we'll call CS, that's going to be the definite integral of what? Well, we want the area between the demand curve, which is on top, and the equilibrium price, which is below. So we're going to be integrating d of x minus p sub e dx. And what are our limits of integration? We go from 0 to x sub e. For the producer's surplus, which we'll call PS, now we want the area below the equilibrium price. So the P sub E line is on top, so that's got to come first. And we'll subtract from that the p-values on the supply curve. And of course we have our dx, and once again we're integrating from 0 to the equilibrium quantity x sub e. In the next video, we'll see an example of calculating these.